Joining me on the line as he does every Friday on the show, he is from Cinemablend.com, and he watches movies and does stuff with his hands. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mike Reyes. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Not a lot. I'm just, working with my hands here on a keyboard. I would like to very much clarify it is keyboard work with my hands, folks, or sometimes wildly gesturing in the air.
That's New Jersey slang for doing stuff with his hands.
Wow, we're already off to a rising start here, folks. I don't know where we're going to go from here.
All right, let's dive into the movie reviews. There's a reason why I'm so loopy this morning, okay?
Oh.
I stayed up and watched Dune last night, so I could talk about it with you today.
Okay, but it went up at 6 yesterday, right?
I have a 6-year-old that has a head cold right now, so I didn't start watching this until like 9.
Okay, but it is still the perfect time to introduce your kid to this because he'll be loopy on the cough medicine and he'll feel like Paul Atreides inhaling the spice for the first time himself.
Oh, God. What did you think of this? Did you like it?
Oh, I loved it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Okay, quick Cliff's notes for the audience out there who may or may not know about this juggernaut known as Dune Part 1, which they totally, call that in the title card, but they've been just marketing it as Dune. It is Dune Part 1. Part 2 is to be determined. If enough of us watch Dune this weekend, we'll get Part 2, and we better damn well. But anyway, Cliff's notes of Dune. There are two huge noble houses, the Atreides and the Harkonnens, who are at war with each other. And the planet of Arrakis, which is rich in a substance known as spice, is the battleground for their sort of familial tiff with their cousins. So you've basically got the Atreides family going to sort of take things over after the Harkonnens were ordered to leave by the Emperor. And young Paul Atreides, played by Timothée Chalamet, is finding his way in the world. And he may or may not be a chosen one of some sort because this is sci-fi and epic sci-fi, and that's how it works.
You really got to be paying attention. Like, you can't half-ass watch this movie. That's what I figured out early on.
Oh, not at all. And you get that from the trailer. Like, Denis Villeneuve puts so much detail and attention into crafting this film that you cannot just passively watch Dune unless you get to the point where you've watched it 50 million times.
I think it would take 50 million times to truly understand everything that's happening. Just real quick, there are parts of this movie that I genuinely liked. Okay, I thought it looked cool. I thought it looked like a great sci-fi movie. Just how they made the sets, the dragonfly jets made no sense to me, but they look cool, You
need to see this in 3D.
The movie itself, though, to me, it felt long. Like, it felt like I was sitting in a long movie. You really got to pay attention to it, like I said. And then I kind of felt, and I know it was, they tried to do a TV series, but to me, the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, this feels like if you crammed all the Game of Thrones episodes into one sitting and made a movie out of it.
No. I think I had no problem watching this at all. And this is another one of those rare cases where I sank into this world. I just dove into this storytelling and absolutely loved what I saw. And the only reason this movie stopped short of perfect is because of the fact that we don't know if we're going to get a part 2. And it was deliberate. I mean, you can deliberately structure a movie like that. That's fine. Don't call it Dune then. Call it Dune Part 1.
Yeah.
I guess that's their way of protecting themselves if they don't make Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
But the thing is, all right, you want to know the reason why they didn't make both parts at the same time?
Because they didn't have the money?
According to Denis Villeneuve, the reason that Warner Brothers wouldn't greenlight 1 and 2 together is because Blade Runner 2049 lost so much money, and they're like, yeah, we'll see if Dune makes money, and then you get Dune Part 2 as a treat.
I don't completely disagree. I don't completely disagree with that thinking.
I'm frustrated by it because if you're adapting Dune, you better make all of Dune. Don't just stop short. No, it's like when it's the same thing that they did with It, where It was greenlit and, they had a change in creative team, but it eventually got made. And then at the end, everyone's like, ooh, end of part 1. Ooh, they're going to make the rest of the story. And then it took them a couple years to write and make the rest of the story. They didn't have the same team writing that second installment, and it was such a letdown. And I'm really hoping that doesn't happen to Dune, because Dune is, if we're going to fall back at the puns, it's Dune it right.
Like I said,
we can disagree.
What's that?
We can disagree. It's cool, baby.
No. I'm trying to explain how, like, when I was watching it, what I was feeling. And part of it, you know what I felt like when the first half of it when I'm watching it, I felt like you remember Akira, the anime movie?
Oh, yeah.
I felt like I was watching that because I knew there were important things happening, but I had no idea what they were.
Oh, I love Akira.
But Akira, it took a couple watches to go, okay, I kind of get what's going on here.
Oh, yeah. No, this is definitely, it's a thinker. And, you remember the back when David Lynch did his, they handed out glossaries of terms, which I think I have a friend that still has his.
I was thinking about that, yeah.
Yeah, they had the glossary of terms, and then I think they even had just like that huge exposition and dump in the beginning that explains a lot of things. And I think this works really well. I think this is accessible. But to your point, I think one of the reasons this may not work perfectly for people is because it is very much act one of a greater story.
Yeah.
Like, this has been sold to us as it's a standalone, it works in its own way, and yeah, I guess it kind of does, but this is like you're offering the first half of that book, and then you're not getting the rest of it. You're not getting the payoff. Yeah. You're getting the setup, but you're not getting all of the payoff.
You know what I did think during this? Just another random thought. As I was coming in this morning, I was thinking about it. I get why people need origin story movies now.
Yeah, and that's where the prequels that the author's son kind of come in, I guess. And depending on who you talk to, those are either really cool or really lame.
It's just watching it, like at the beginning, it's like, okay, what's this voice power? And okay, why do these shields only work half the time? And where's Patrick Stewart?
Or Sting, who apparently is his character's in the next movie.
I don't know. I didn't, like I said, I didn't hate it. I wasn't in love with it.
See, I think that audiences are sci-fi literate enough, especially with Star Wars, that you could go into this and just think, oh, the voice powers the Force, Paul Atreides is Luke Skywalker, and you can sort of map the equivalent, because this was one of those cornerstone movies or cornerstone books to that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And I like the fact that you can map all that up, but it doesn't feel derivative. It doesn't feel like they're ripping. It doesn't feel like audiences who don't think about it the right way will say they're ripping off Star Wars. It's like, first of all, this inspired Star Wars probably to a certain extent, or at least it laid the groundwork for it. And second of all, no.
You know what the only thought I had during this that even touched on the Star Wars stuff?
Needs more sandworm?
Anakin Skywalker would hate Dune.
Yeah, don't think those jokes escape me, because I was in work chat yesterday and we were just throwing all the Dune jokes in, and it's like, Dune first, and it gets everywhere.
All right, so if you're a sci-fi geek, you're probably going to get something out of this. On the scale of whether
your mileage will vary.
Yes, that I think it's fair to say that. I mean, I would say we're both sci-fi guys.
Oh yeah,
and it both of us have very different opinions of this movie. So it is.
Well, it's just like the original Dune.
I tried to watch that thing, and I did watch when Patrick Stewart fought the kid, and I'm like, this is the worst fight ever.
He's fighting a kid. He wants to give him a chance. He's delicate. He's got to earn it.
You know what else was kind of weird in this, and we've been on this for about 10 minutes, but
it's the big movie of the week, man. I mean, I haven't seen Ron's Gone Wrong, which I will say I saw 20 minutes of it a couple months ago, and it looks hysterical. Kids movie that's in theaters.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dune is streaming and in theaters, so we'll get that out of the way. But yeah.
Just kind of my, and I kind of forgot my final thoughts, son of a bitch.
No, we gotta find it. We gotta find it.
Oh, hold on. I'm thinking here. What the hell was it?
He's working in magic.
I know what it is. The part that kind of took me out was like it seemed like you took characters from other movies and dropped them in. Like they didn't seem like they fit the tone of the movie. Like Jason Momoa was great in it, but it was like, did you grab him from like a futuristic Indiana Jones movie and throw him in this?
He feels like Han Solo. He's the Han Solo of the group.
But do you know what I'm saying?
Kind of.
Like the tone of it, like different folks and stuff, it just seemed like they took this kind of character from this movie and this kind of character from this movie and Jason Momoa from that movie and dropped them in. I did want to see Aquaman fight Thanos at some point, but we didn't get that.
Well, Aquaman and Thanos were on the same side this time with Poe Dameron.
Which they should have been unstoppable, but they were not.
Well, no, because Drax and Professor Solveig are apparently part of the huge space conglomerate with Polka Dot Man.
That's who that guy was. I was like, why do I know him? Yep. It's Polka Dot Man. God, this is like a whole...
Mouse again, I believe is his name. If I butchered your name, sir, I'm sorry. And, I love him, though.
Dave Bautista just looked confused and angry the entire time.
He's a Harkonnen.
Okay.
That's kind of their thing.
I know.
I think that might be because his character maybe plays a bigger part later on.
Maybe.
I'm not totally versed in Dune. I'm not Stephen Colbert, unfortunately, but I am ready to go read them now.
Okay.
After watching this, because I think that's another good reason movies like this exist. It's a gateway into these source materials, and especially if you watch this before reading it, it might make it easier.
Yeah.
I've heard that it's just inaccessible for some people to get through that book.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line to talk about movies. All right, so that kind of wraps up Dune. I think you said it best. Mileage may vary on this one. So
yeah, I mean, at the very least, no one can argue that it is gorgeous.
No, it's a great looking movie, and getting sent to the desert planet would just blow.
Ugh, I would rather just stay on Caladan.
Yeah,
I would rather just stay on the Norway planet.
I could keep going with this because there are parts at the beginning that I don't understand. But anyways, going over to the world of... What's that?
Special episode.
I know, right? We got to cover some of the movie news because there were some bigger stories that came out. This Alec Baldwin story, I was telling you off air, I'm not an Alec Baldwin fan, but man, do I feel sorry for him in this whole accident that happened on the Rust set this week.
Yeah. Like we were saying before, it's not something you would wish on your worst enemy because of the fact that there was a death involved. For those that haven't read the story yet, there's a Western called Rust where Alec Baldwin and Jensen Ackles from Supernatural are playing together. And they were on set in New Mexico. And yesterday at some point, Alec Baldwin fired a gun. I think it was during rehearsal. It was a prop.
Yeah.
And misfire, and he injured the director Joel Souza, but unfortunately had shot cinematographer Halyna Hutchins in the stomach, and she later died from her injuries.
This is straight from the world of The Crow. Like it sounds like the same type of thing that happened on the set of that movie, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, you know what? I'm blanking on what I don't remember the complete circumstances of that situation.
It was, if I remember correctly, it was the scene where he's standing on the table and all the guys start shooting at him, and one of the guns misfired or something came out of it and it hit Brandon Lee, and he goes down. Yeah, just it's a horrible accident, and it's that's one of the ups and downs with news where one moment you're covering a trailer for a movie, and the next someone has passed or there's an unfortunate incident. And hey, real quick,
ebbs and flow.
Real quick with Rust, was that in the news for something else recently?
Not to my knowledge. I really hadn't heard of the project until this horrible tragedy occurred.
I feel like for some reason this was in the news a few weeks ago, but I don't remember why.
I don't know.
Huh. Well, I guess on that note, we'll just end it this week because now I feel bad.
Oh, yeah, it's probably a good place to end it. Yeah, that just kind of really took the wind out of the sails there. Can't really talk about the Uncharted stuff after that.
No. All right. We'll call it there. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line to talk about movies, and next week we'll totally bring the happy. Okay.
Yeah, and please never say bring the happy ever again.
Okay. To everybody involved in this accident, we do wish you the best.